Wow, Laurnea! I can't believe I'm talking to the Laurnea. I've been listening to your music ever since your first album, Better Listen, back in 1997. That was back in my school
Wow.
days. Your album, one of my all-time favorite, was on repeat a lot, and it's linked to a lot of memories for me. So it really is a great honor to have you on my show. Listeners
Well,
might
thank
remember the singles Can't Let Go, Days of Youth, and Infatuation from that album. And you've also sung vocals for Arrested Development and Loose Ends. So I only just recently read that you had sung with Arrested Development and Loose Ends, but I don't know when this was or which songs. Can you tell us about that and what it was like working with them?
both experiences was great. It was actually I worked with Loose Ends first before Arrested Development, and this was before my solo deal with Sony Yab Yum, and this was 1990. From 1990 to 93, I lived over in London and worked on a Loose Ends last project that they were a group together, and we were signed to Virgin, a world deal to Virgin Records, and it we released a one CD, and it something happened within the business of the company, so they retracted the record about 2 weeks after it was released. So it kind of came out and didn't come out. And so I wrote 10 of the 12 songs on there, co-wrote 10 of the 12 songs on there, and loved it, and loved living there. And then I came back to the States, and then I moved to Atlanta to work with Arrested Development after Karen Wheeler from Soul to Soul introduced me to uh, Arrested Development while they were over in London performing. I didn't know, I'm from America and didn't know about this group that was blowing up, and she told me about them and met them and hooked up with Speech, who I just did another song with that I'm going to be releasing very soon in about 2 months, a song called Punk. But ended up writing with him on my first, doing the stuff with Arrested Development, joining the group, um, actually marrying one of the members of the group, later on, DJ Kimmett. And then, but we're not married anymore, we're divorced. But then later on went on to do my solo project with Sony Yab Yum. So it was really great. I learned some really great songwriting skills in London with working with Carl McIntosh from Loose Ends and Arrested Development. It was a really good time of my life, where that's the same years I met India.Arie and all these different people in Atlanta, because I moved there from London to Atlanta, and then eventually came back to California.
Wow, cool. Okay, so I know your first album was with Sony, and you went on to form your own label after that, through which you produced three albums named Two, New Territory, and I Remember. So the question has to be, what was your experiences with that first album that motivated you to go and form your own label?
So my experience with my first label that I was on, which was Sony Yab Yum, Epic Sony, it was good. I mean, it was a learning experience. It was a label that I think after a while we didn't fit. So we kind of came to a mutual agreement to part ways. And um, I decided to form my own label after that, because I had the I was in the niche of, doing music in a certain way. And I had a studio at my home in Atlanta, and I just decided to go in my studio and make a record, and put out the second CD, which was called Laurnea 2, 10 months after I left them, and started licensing my CDs to different countries. So that's what I did for about 7 years. I would record music, and there were several companies, like overseas in different countries, that picked it up and licensed it for just that particular region. Dome did it for London. I did a deal with Switzerland. I did a deal in Africa. I did a deal in Amsterdam. So it was just, and they were one-offs, like each year I would, submit another project, and they pick it up. So I did about four. I did Laurnea 2, New Territory, I Remember, and The Collection. And there was one more. Oops, I can't remember. Because this project that I'm working on now is probably my seventh CD projects, you know. So.
Okay, so I'm right in thinking you moved to Japan, and so you must have had quite an experience in Japan. What was that like, and did it influence your music or the songs you wrote?
I didn't actually move there. I went there to work for a couple of months, but I never moved there. The company, well, first label that was interested in me, I was signed to three Japanese labels, JVC, Japan, Universal Japan, and a smaller boutique label. And they found me after, these were people that liked my music and found out that I was, in between deals and asked me, was I interested in doing some music for over there and coming over there and touring. So it was a great fit. I actually grew up. My stepmom was Japanese, so I knew a little Japanese, and so I went there, and I really love that country. It's so beautiful and clean, and I had a ball, and they treat me grandly. So it was the great experience. So I plan to do another deal with us. I like the boutique labels. They really treat me one. The other labels did too, but they're bigger labels. So, but I went there about 2 years ago was the last time I was there, and did a 10 city tour, and it was fabulous. I had a great time.
Right, and I know you've also worked with India Ari on some of her albums, and you're very close, and I'm a big fan. So please tell us about the work you've done with India.
Well, India and I we're buddies before the music. I met her in Atlanta. I had just moved there, and I think I had worked on my first. I can't even remember if I was before Sony or after Arrested Development. I can't remember, but I had a deal before she did, and we were friends, and we would come over each other's house and write. I met her. She was riding down the street on her bike with a guitar strapped to her back, and everybody was talking about this girl in Atlanta who could sing so good. And I don't know if you know who. I'm sure you know who Anthony David is.
Yeah.
Tony. Well, he was her uh, best friend and background singer. They wrote songs together, and he came to me one day and he says, "I have this girl. I want you to come and see her. And she's new, and if you could just kind of give her some input on what to, some performance and stuff like that." So I went to go see her, and my mouth dropped open. I was like, "Oh my God, I don't need to help her. This girl is amazing." And we became friends, and I knew we were really good friends when she would come over my house. I always tell this story. She was so comfortable, and she would fall asleep on my couch. I was like, "She's really comfortable." So, and we've been friends since I think she was like 19 or 20 when I met her, and we've written songs together, did a lot of traveling together. When she would go out on tour, her first tour, because I was experienced doing it, I wanted to big sister her and go out with her. And a couple times she took me out just to hang out and eat. We'd go on tour and I would find the food because I'm a vegan chef also. And so she was like, "Oh, I love your cooking. So you should just come on the road with me and cook and eat." And sometimes I would go out and sing, but other times I would just go and hang out with her. And we've been friends, and we're like lifetime friends. I know that we're going to be somewhere on some island. I'm going to be 95, and she'll be 80 something, and and still old friends. And to this day, we're still great friends. But I worked on, I think, her first three CDs. I did background work on mostly all the songs on yeah, her first three CDs.
Oh, great. So you're in LA now, but you've recently put out a couple of tunes with UK producers, which I've been playing on the show. Don't Break My Heart on the P Vibes EP, Vibes Up Sessions Volume 1, and also Trust This Feeling with Stanza. So just tell us about these tracks and the other track. I understand you're working on another one with P Vibes.
Yeah, well, yeah, but and I'm also working on another one with Stan Zepp, Afro beat that is so hot. Oh my God, I'm gonna go in the studio and record it, and but I'm but I'm getting ready to do a video for Trust This Feeling, a real simple video footage of me and then him, and we're gonna conjoin it and but how I met P Vibes, I've known him for a very long time, but never have met him in person. We've done a couple of songs together. That song that he put out on "Don't Break My Heart," I did probably I want to say 15 years ago.
Wow.
And I pulled it up and I did another song with him that oh, I can't even remember the name of it, but I think he put it on one of his projects, and we've been corresponding and communicating through the internet and the phone and for many years, and I said I was going to come back and finally go over there and finally meet him, and because he's like my brother, um so haven't really officially met P Vibes, just spoken to him, and he's a real cool guy and very talented. I like him. So then Stan Zeff, I just met in uh, January when I went down to Atlanta. I got in touch with him through Terry Hunter and Wayne Williams from the DJs, DJ Terry Hunter and Wayne Williams from I think Chosen Few out of Chicago. They I hooked up with Wayne, and he was saying that Stan sent him a track to listen to, and he recommended that meet me and see if I could write to it. So he sent it to me, and I wrote to it and rewrote it, and I think by the third version of it, I was ready, and so I went into the studio here and recorded it and sent it to him, and then flew to Atlanta and worked with Speech from Arrested Development on some songs and Stan, and these songs are really really hot. And it's not a new style for me, but it's different because it's house, and I usually do neo soul kind of stuff, but I do everything now. I've actually been in the studio recording about 40 songs, where for three to four different genres, and I'm just going to not do a full CD, but put them out one at a time, place them in different places simultaneously. Different labels, different parts of the world, and so that's my mission right now, short-term mission. And you asked the question about the Flower Butterfly CD. That was a CD that was going to happen, and then I found out the album cover for that and the CD cover for that. It was the same CD cover that my good friend Algebra had done, and we're both Aries, and this was just kindred spirits thinking alike. And her cover looked just like. So I had to change my whole concept, and that's where the CD that came out on the Japanese label, Universal Love, came in.
I understand your mother was a singer and music was a big part of your life growing up. But I mean, can you tell us a bit more about what your childhood was like and how you developed this amazing talent you have as a child?
Oh, well, I think I was born with it. I really do. I think it was. It's. I've always had it. I started singing at 9 in church. They found out I could sing. I was really a dancer and was a leader of a drill team, a marching team that performed during like Super Bowls and all these major football games. And it was about 25 girls, and I was the leader with the baton and doing the routines with drummers in the back of us. And we won awards, and then I started singing at church in the choir. And from that day on, they made my mother made me sing. She's like, "Oh no, you can sing. You're gonna be singing in the choir." So it started there, and then I was known in high school, which I didn't even realize because I was very to myself. People knew I was a singer, and I didn't know why. They said because when you're by yourself in the halls, you sing out loud. I was like, wow, do I? I didn't know I was doing that. But so then from there, I auditioned for the Wiz came out to California to visit my sister, and someone I said, I have a proposition. Why don't you go and audition for this show, The Wiz, that's on Broadway in New York? And I said, oh, okay. Went, and I was in the 11th grade, and my got the part. It was about 1,500 girls there, and I told my mom, and she didn't let me go. She said, no, you have to finish high school. So I cried, and that didn't matter. And she's like, if they want you, they'll wait till you graduate. So I came back to Nebraska, graduated high school, and really didn't know what I was going to do, if I was going to go to college or what. So I moved back out to Long Beach with my sister, and they called and tricked me because they had me waiting all that time, but they had already picked me to be the next Dorothy, Stephanie Mills' understudy in The Wiz. So flew me out to New York, said I was auditioning, but I was really going out there just to get the part. So that's how that journey started. And then from there, I lived there for about 4 years doing the show on Broadway, got in a national touring company of the same show, which took me to Europe and traveled through the States and over in Europe. And it closed in California. So I just stayed there and got an agent and just kept doing film and TV, and because I was acting a lot first, and then started singing with Patti LaBelle, James Ingram, Bobby McFerrin, all these background gigs I started doing. And then someone approached me, offered me a deal on my own, which I really didn't want. I wanted to be a writer at a label, like a signed writer. So I got a writer's deal with Warner Chappell, and through that started putting my music in film and TV. And that's when Tracy Edmonds found me and was like, well, what does she look like? And
Cool. Um, so I understand you were in a few Spike Lee movies as well. What was that like?
that was amazing. It was the same thing. I was out in LA, and I heard about an audition, and myself and about 20 of my friends went, and then some of my friends in New York got the part too. So, but we filmed it in Atlanta, but I was still living in Los Angeles. Filmed it in Atlanta for 6 months. It was a great time, but also a very devastating time for me. During that film, my mom passed away, so I had to leave from filming, go to Nebraska, have her funeral, and then come back and finish the film. So I had to grow up, really grow up, and it was really rough. But thank God I had a lot of my friends, and Spike was really kind and helpful, and the whole cast was there to keep my spirits up and stuff. So it was very important time of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were shooting a TV show yesterday? What was that?
Yes, I in LA I do stand-in work for a couple of sitcoms where during their rehearsals I will go in, and there's two people I stand in for that I'm the same size and built, so they pay me to do that. And yeah, so it's kind of like
Interesting.
little side acting. I don't have an agent anymore here, but I'm moving, and I decided not to get an agent here because I'm moving back to Atlanta to open up a vegan restaurant with speech.
Oh, wow. That sounds
Yeah, and with a vegan restaurant with music. So it's going to be a different kind of situation with great healthy food and great music coming through there. So
wow. That's going to be the best. Okay, so I'm also always looking out for great new music. Are there any other artists putting music out that you're really, really feeling and just want to share the love?
as far as like soul music and stuff like that, I really don't know. And I need to get on that and start listening to some people.
Okay.
Wait a minute. There's this one guy that I heard recently. I want to say his name is Sir or something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Do
Yes,
you know
sir.
him?
Yes.
I love him.
Right.
I like I like Sir, and I like her, Sir and her,
Yep.
and I mean because they feel that feels like real music to me. And there's a couple. I'd have to just really dig down and think about that. But there is some good music out there, but a lot of it is underground.
Cool. So, okay, so finally, could I persuade you to sing us a little exclusive a cappella for the Rhythm Be Soul show?
Rhythm be soul show. Rhythm be soul show with DJ Solar B, with DJ Solar B. Rhythm be soul show, rhythm be soul show with DJ Solar B.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was fantastic. Thank you, Laurnea. Oh my gosh,
Don't know how that sound, but
amazing,
thank
amazing.
you so much. Hopefully we can meet soon.
That's wonderful. Oh, thank you so much, Laurnea. I really
Um,
appreciate you doing this interview with me. It's like unbelievable to me that I'm interviewing Laurnea. It's amazing. Thank you very much.
well,
I'm going
thank
to
you.
stop
I
the
really
recording now.
enjoyed talking. It was a good interview. Thank you so much.